Welcome back to Straight Talk. I'm Laurel Porter. We're talking about Oregon's marijuana industry in light of changes at the federal level. What's next for legal pot? Welcome once again to my guests, marijuana entrepreneur Christine Smith, the CEO of Gron Chocolates, Anthony Johnson. He is a leading cannabis law reform activist, and Samuel Gross, an attorney who advocates for the businesses and people who make up the marijuana community in Oregon. Once again, welcome to Straight Talk.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Let's talk about something really important to businesses, and that is banking. Right now, many banks are hindered by federal law from working with marijuana businesses, even in states where marijuana is legal. And this week, Oregon's Attorney General Ellen Rosenblum joined 18 other attorneys general to urge Congress to pass legislation that would allow states with legalized marijuana, medical and/or recreational marijuana, to legally use the banking system. And Senator Merkley is co-sponsor of something called SAFE, the Secure and Fair Enforcement Banking Act. How important is this to your business, Christine?
Unbelievably critically important. It's really, in my mind, what is going to help this industry move forward. We want regulation. Being able to pay our employees through direct deposit, being able to pay insurance, be able to offer the same benefits that any other business is able to offer. And without that, when you're operating in cash, it's virtually impossible to provide the level of accountability that a business needs to operate in. Not to mention the concerns with safety, all these other issues that are surrounding it. So we do have a bank account here. We bank with a state credit union. The amount of regulations that we are responsible for to maintain that bank account is significant, but we're really, really proud to, and that might be one of my most prized possessions right now is the bank account.
Well, what else is going on at the congressional level, Samuel, to try to ensure that the banking continues, even at the level that Christine's able to use right now?
Yeah, absolutely. So recently, Earl Blumenauer joined in a letter to FinCEN, who issued guidance to banks to allow them to go ahead and bank businesses engaged in cannabis. And the FinCEN memo is kind of the corollary of the Cole Memorandum, authorizing the states to start, or this gave the states the authority to, I don't want to say authority, but gave the states that they felt the grounds they need to go ahead and create these industries and these legal frameworks. However, in light of what Sessions has done revoking the Cole Memorandum, these representatives decided to reach out to FinCEN and say, please do not revoke this memo that has given the bank what they feel the authority or the legal standing to go ahead and start banking the cannabis space. The other thing I really want to say that's really important about this banking issue is that it not only affects the cannabis business, it affects every other business they have to go out and do business with. So the insurance companies that you mentioned, they not only would, if the cannabis company doesn't have access to banking, then the insurance company is being forced to receive cash. Every other business they do business with then suddenly has the same exposure and the same risks of having to do business with cash. And so I think that it's really important that we think about the other people that are affected, not just the cannabis industry.
It's a critical aspect. I'm sure you'll all be talking about that coming up at your conference. It's the Cannabis Collaborative Conference. It's coming up next Wednesday and Thursday, the 24th and 25th at the Portland Expo. Here is a graphic telling you about it. If you're interested in going, you need to sign up and register, and you can do that on the website you see there at the bottom of the page. Anthony, you're all speakers. Tell me about it. I see that the goal is to make Oregon the model cannabis state. Tell me about the conference.
Yeah, you see, it's a good time for the industry to come together at conferences like these, to hear from experts, people who've been in the field, to listen to Congressman Blumenauer, to discuss things with regulators. And yeah, really it's to come together and combat Jeff Sessions and federal intrusion, but also how can we unite to be a model program for the rest of the country, because Oregon's cannabis industry is not going to be able to thrive at the levels that it needs to be until we legalize across the country. And to legalize across the country, we have to be a good example for the rest of the country.
And Christine, you're going to be speaking. What will you be talking about?
Well, I'm actually, my company is part of two panels. One, I will be speaking with Eric Wendt, who is the Chief Science Officer at Greenleaf Lab, and we're going to be talking about maintaining potency in edibles as you scale up your business. And then we're also sponsoring, not sponsoring, but my Chief Operations Officer is going to be moderating a panel with dispensary staff on what the market is actually driving and what they're asking for in the edible market.
And Sammy, what do you think is important for people to know at this conference?
at this conference, we're going to really be talking to people in the industry, and there's actually a part of it is an investors forum of people looking to actually invest into the cannabis space right now. And despite the flex in the law right now and the change in the laws and the uncertainty, there's still people that are in businesses that are investing into it. And so we're going to be talking a little bit about due diligence and how and when you want to get in and place your bets in the industry.
So do you sense any reluctance amongst investors right now since the session of this announcement?
You know, I thought there would be some reluctance and there would be pushback. I represent clients that are investing in the industry, and I thought that this would be slowing down or transactions would be slowing down. But you know what? I've got directions from some of my clients to full speed ahead. We want to get in while we can.
We have about a minute left, but I did want to ask about medical marijuana because there is this amendment that Congressman Blumenauer got passed in the last continuing resolution. We've had all these short-term budgets, the last one in December, and so the amendment expires today. We're taping Friday afternoon, protecting medical marijuana users and producers and growers. So this is kind of in limbo now, isn't it? What happens with the medical marijuana community?
Well, it's the same thing that could happen to the recreational community. It would kick it to the local U.S. attorneys to enforce federal law as they see fit. With over 90% support for medical cannabis, I don't see it a high priority. And I have no doubt that later this year, if not this year, then next year, there will be an amendment to protect medical cannabis patients and providers, if not the recreational businesses as well.
As a businesswoman, we have about 25 seconds. Do you have a final thought for our viewers?
You know, I think you've nailed it with full speed ahead. That's really, you know, it's where our business and our interests and where we're going is not slowed down. And if anything, I'm really proud to be part of what Oregon is doing and the steps that we've made in the right direction. I think, you know, we've got great regulators, the OLCC. We're really lucky to have the state legislature and our governor that supports this industry. And I'm really proud to be part of it.
Christine Smith, Samuel Gross, Anthony Johnson, thank you for being a part of this panel here on Straight Talk. And again, that conference is coming up next week, the Cannabis Collaborative Conference. And we thank you for watching. We'll see you next week for Straight Talk.